Hey everyone, this is Paul from Come and Touch of Fantasy, and today's review is The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. This was a great book. I loved it. I gave it a 5 out of 5. This review is going to be a little bit different. I don't have really a lot written down to talk about with this book, and I'm trying just to go by the seat of my pants and just talk. This is because I need more communication skills with just talking randomly about something and not planning ahead of time. I'm not very good at that, and this is a way for me to practice that skill. And so if you are patient with me, that'd be great. Anyways, Wise Man's Fear is a continuation of King Killer Chronicles by Rothfuss. First book was The Name of the Wind, and now this is the second book, and it follows Quoth as he goes about his university. And in this book, he actually goes away from the university and has adventures elsewhere. For myself, if I never read the first book, I'm not really going to watch a review about the second book that has a lot of information about the story. So I'm going to keep the summary pretty short and just basically tell you, Quoth gets away from the university, has his own adventures, meets interesting and new places, and has a lot of fun. And as a reader, you have a lot of fun reading his journey. There were two parts of this book that I really liked. The first part is that the camaraderie and the friendships between Quoth and his friends was amazing in this book. I like books that have interpersonal relationships. This group of friends is great to read about. It's like you're a part of their friendships and you're a friend of theirs too, just by reading them. And that's one of the parts of reading fantasy that I like a lot. Quoth gets really close to Sim, Will, and Phila, and even Debbie in this book, and also Denna. And I love that. That was one of my favorite parts. My second favorite part of this book was his journey with the Adem, which is a culture and society in this book. It really reminded me of Buddhist monks, but they're not as strict. And that society is very interesting, and in my opinion, the best part of this book. Rothfuss world building with the Adem is without a doubt the highlight of the series for me. I think it's really well visualized and really thought out. So he meets the guy named Tempe, and he's from the Adem, and he ends up going and training with them, which is really cool. The part of this book I didn't like much was when he went with Felruin. It just didn't seem like it fit in with the book. I felt it was just a way for him to gain knowledge of the world and his quest to find answers, and it just didn't seem that great. Him becoming sexually active was something I did not want to read about, and it just was kind of, Quoth is a good guy, but I don't want to know that much about him that close, you know what I mean? There's one major theme that runs later in the book, and that's the anger of a gentleman, and that's what the wise man's fear is. Every wise man should fear the anger of a gentleman. And I think Rothfuss is trying to say, Quoth is a gentle guy, but inside he has a dark spot because of what happened to him and his family back when he was younger, and his anger is something that is fearful, and other people see it inside him. We read about Quoth dealing with it and not doing what we think he should do, and then we can apply that to our own life and say, okay, I need to take care of this issue and get rid of whatever anger, whatever issue that I have that causes this anger, and work through it. If I was to describe Rothfuss writing in one word, that'd be whimsical. His prose just kind of flows and dances, and it's very easy to read, and it's a lot of fun to read. and you can really see Rothfuss's personality while reading. It's just very amusing and very carefree and lighthearted. I would recommend this book to anybody that hasn't read a lot of fantasy books. I think this is a good fantasy book for people that are trying to have a solid foundation of newer fantasy. For people that have been reading fantasy for a long time, they might find some of it a little bit young adultish and not really that serious. Those people might not like this book that much. I think that if you're into like Glenn Cook, or or really love the Malazan series, or like Grim Dark a lot, last thing I would like to say is that I really hope that Rothfuss finishes this series on a high note. I think that the third book should be a lot darker than the second book. I want to see Quoth kind of lose control a little bit. I want to see bad things happen, but I also want to see him, open up completely to Denna. I would like to see Quoth have some character development in the third book. I want to see the penultimate scene where, in the present, where he's talking about his past, where he gets his confidence and his power back and doesn't want to die anymore. I think that if the third book is as lighthearted as the second and first book, and as amusing and fun, that the series isn't going to be taken that seriously in the future. I think that it'll kind of fall off. It won't age well. I say that because I think books that last a long time make us really think about ourselves and about our society. If he doesn't grow as a character much in the third book, I don't think this book will be as well liked 20 years from now as it is now. So that's just my opinion. Okay, this has been a little bit different review. Thanks for watching, guys. The next book I'm reading is Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. I added the, so whatever. But anyways, that's my next book. It's my literary or classical book of the month. So I read that when I was a teenager, and I'm rereading it now. I don't remember much of it at all. So hopefully I can get through it. Alright, this has been a review. Check out cometouchoffantasy.com and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thanks, guys.